Yeah, hello out there. Here I'm going to do a synchronous charge and discharge to test this battery assembly or unit that I built. It's got 36 Chinese lithium iron phosphate batteries that I've built into an assembly. Here I've got 6 rows of 6 batteries. Each row is connected up with a number 12 copper wire on both sides. And I'm going to use this iCharger in synchronous mode, which it took me a while to figure out how to do this. But looking in the back here, you see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 older assemblies, battery assemblies or battery units. And I'm retiring these and I'm building new ones. And mainly these guys have high internal resistance, although they still have pretty good capacity. And so I'm going to use these to power this iCharger. And first thing, to get it into synchronous mode, the first thing you want to do, well, actually you want to put it into battery. So if you long press this tab here on the front, it goes to the advanced menu, and if you can see that, then one of the menus, so if you scroll down to power supply, first do tab, what did I do? Alright, long tab, and then select this guy, and then go down to power supply, and then you set it to battery power supply, and then settings, you have to put the right settings in for your battery. In this case I'm putting a 15 volt low voltage limit, the current limit of 20 amps, and I'm setting the high limit to 17 amps. Actually low voltage current limit, but actually I can go down here and set this current limit to, should be 20 amps here, and I'm going to scroll this up to 20. Okay, and this allows the charger to push energy out into this battery bank, and then to save, and then save again, and then exit. Okay, and this whole process is not very efficient, so this battery will get depleted. It'll charge this one up, and then this will discharge and put energy back into this battery behind here, but that whole process sort of uses energy. So I have this secondary charger, and it's set up to charge this battery bank at 10 amps during the charge process, so that as these discharge, this is putting energy back, and this will pull about 15 amps out, but this will put about 10 amps in, and you'll see that when I turn it on that basically keeps this whole thing behind here from getting too depleted. So I'm going to start this one, and you see battery type, start, see LI, so it's going to be 3.65 balance charge, 10 amps, and I've got, these guys all hooked up to the balancer going into the side here. And so let's start this. Okay, and you see now this is ramping up. It's going to get up to 10 amps. Okay, and then I have set up on this one previously a synchronous mode program. So I start this one, and you see here it's got this little yellow thing there that's indicated it's a synchronous mode, and you see that it's like a 70 amp program. So I'm going to select that one, and I'm going to select charge, and I hit yes, and you see now that it's starting to ramp up 1.3, 1.2 amps, and if you be patient a little bit, you'll see this thing go. I'm going to make this part 1, and I'm going to put another video, part 2, where I do the discharge. And here we see 65 amps, 67. So now it's almost there. 70, 69.8. And then if you look down here, you see it's on the bottom there. It's the battery behind there is giving me 15 volts, almost 16 volts, and it's pulling 17.4 amps out of the battery behind there. And as you recall, this guy is pushing 10 amps into the battery, and excuse me, shaking this thing, and so between the net 7, but so it's still, this battery behind here is still getting somewhat depleted. But in the next video, I'm going to show you the discharge. When this discharges this battery to test it, and I want to test the capacity of, that's the whole point of doing this. When this one discharges, in the second part of the next video, it's going to put energy into the iCharger, which will put back energy back into this battery bank behind here. However, at the completion of that, you know, there's a lot of inefficiency and we're going to lose energy. So that's why you have to have this 10-inch auxiliary charge. And then over here I can monitor the whole process. And I should have had this turned on, I apologize. It's coming up. Just be patient. Alright, and then, okay, sorry about that. Something. And I use this log view program that they do, and I'm going to put this one here. You see now here I've got, let me go here, I've got these things prepared. I'm going to open this, and I'm going to go charge, that save the settings, okay. And you see here I've got the green line here, that's the charge current, and that's at 70 amps. And then I've got this lower one is the this voltage on the cell, which is right now 3.4 volts, and it'll charge all the way up to 3.65 before it finishes. And then you hear the iCharger fan cutting in. And so right now, this here with its 36 individual cells has about it. Well, it should test out. I haven't tested it yet, but I just built it. And it should have about a 215 ampere hour capacity, and I just want to check that. And one thing to note is I've got number 6 wires here going into each side, and that's really important. This thing doesn't really work right unless you have pretty big wires. And then here is a single, kind of a connector here going into the monitor port. And so right now we've got here, and I'm going to, this guy's going to heat up after a while, and so we're going to turn this fan on here. Okay. And so this, I'm going to end this now and do another video when I'm going to do the discharge test. And this will take probably, this is about half charged, so it's going to take like an hour and a half. Maybe somewhere, maybe possibly 2 hours. I'm not sure exactly the state of charge of this thing, but it's going to take 2 hours, and then this is going to get fully charged, and then I can run my discharge test and find out what the capacity is. Anyway, thank you for listening or watching, and I will sign off now, and I'm going to show you the next part of it where I actually discharge this into this, back into this supply battery.